Alrighty. So moving on to 2.5 now, or 7.5 is what it actually is in the textbook. Oh, I'm tired. Okay. So we're gonna go over 2.5.1 types of advertising and advertising techniques. I'm learning along with you because my teacher never had time to cover this. And I've got 20 more days before my first exam. Types of advertising and advertising techniques. So, the Yale model of communication, including 5 different features. Advertising media, including types of advertising media, printed, television, internet, smartphone, use of eye tracking and EEGs, and that includes a study, but if it's not a key study, we don't give a fuck. And Lauterborn's 4C's marketing mix model. Okay, let's get the notepad up here. You guys maybe already know how we do it around here with the notepad strats. Don't mind the OBS in the background. Why does it not do the thing where it like sticks anymore? Why does it not do the sticky thing? Okay, here you go. Now it's sticky, right? Now it's sticky. Oh, beautiful. Lovely. It doesn't want to go past halfway for some reason. And I don't understand why. Alright. So, in 2.4.1, that's 2.4.1, we have, oh no, sorry, 2.5.1 is what I meant to be doing. I scrolled up on accident. There you go, 2.5.1. Types of advertising and advertising techniques. All right. So we have the Yale model of communication, 5 features. So the idea behind looking at the syllabus first is that it helped you get just a general idea of what you're going to be reading about, and that helps. And then we have advertising media, which are printed, television, could have just written TV, but I'm stupid. Television, internet, smartphone, use of eye tracking and EEGs. Electroencephalogram, or I think that's what it stands for. And then we have our last one here, which is Lauterborn's. Add an apostrophe. Lauterborn's 4C's marketing mix model. Okay, cool. And we start with the Yale model of communication. Can I make these bold? Is that a thing? It's not a thing. Look at me, all inexperienced. First time I'm going over this slide as well. Because it's made by people who are not me, by my classmates. All right, so here you go. The Yale model of communication, developed by Carl Hovland and blah blah blah. Initially, blah, 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 doesn't matter. Okay, doesn't matter. Using helper, focus on 3 main factors to determine the effectiveness of communication. 3 main factors. 2 more factors. Okay, so we have our factors, right? Which are factors, put in parentheses here, which determine the effectiveness of communication. Which are sorry, I'm a bit sick. Okay. Who, as in the speaker or messenger or whatever. What, as in the message. And whom, as in the audience. And then expanded. We'll do this. 2 more. Expanded by McGuire. You don't really need to know about any of these names or the dates. You don't have to know. But 2 more are how and the impact of the communication to what effect. To what effect? We'll just do this here. 2 more expanded by McGuire. How, meaning method of comms, and to what effect. And we'll just, for clarity here, write audience, and for clarity here, we'll write message. Okay. Cool. Those are the 5. Who, message, audience, to what effect, attention, comprehension, acceptance, how. Okay. Simple enough. Who, the source, says what? Oh, this is a lot of shit. Jesus Christ. Okay. Good luck. To me, honestly. Who, credibility, persuasiveness, attractiveness / looks / pop. We'll just say, yeah, popularity, basically just image overall. Attractive sources capture tend to make. Okay, yeah, got it. Says what? Go down to what? What? Hard sell. Hard sell, which is important. Factual info. Soft sell. I'm not going to add hyphens because I'm lazy. Soft sell, which is subjective image based, image oriented. We'll say, I guess. Image oriented. Okay. Sorry. Lost focus. 2-sided messages. Presenting both sides of an argument may be more specific, but effectiveness depends on the audience problem situation. Okay. 2-sided message. Presenting both sides of. We're just presenting both sides. It's fine. Okay. And then also, we'll just do this here to keep everything in order. Two-sided message, and last one, message timing. Primacy, effect, recency. Is that how you spell that? Yeah, recency effect. Cool. And then we have whom. And if you can remember, whom means the audience. Understanding the demographics of the target audience. People who are more open to persuasion tend to be younger, less intelligent, and have moderate self-esteem. Okay. Understanding of target audience. Of course, if you understand the target audience, then you can manipulate your message to be more persuasive to that target audience, which is why they just say it like that, because that's kind of the obvious explanation. And then additionally, we have this little fact here. Younger, less intelligent. How did a colon get in there? Or semicolon, I don't know. Moderate self-esteem equals most gullible. Gullible has 2 L's? I don't know. I hate not knowing. Okay, let's find out. Gullible. 2 L's, I was right. Let's go, baby. Also, if you're wondering what music I'm listening to, it's just this Eternal Warriors channel. There's a lot of channels like it, but I like this one. Alright, let's continue. Sorry. Moderate self-esteem equals most gullible. Younger, less intelligent, moderate self-esteem equals most gullible. Like, people who get in cults and stuff. And now we're on to how. How, of course, being the medium or the method of communication, right? So, effectiveness of the medium can vary depending on the audience and the channel used. Different types of media may have varying impacts on different audiences. Effects of the medium can vary depending on the audience and the channel used. Okay, so these are just saying the same thing. Okay. Effectiveness of method depends on audience. I guess, for example, you could say that an older audience might really like, you know, some shit on like the radio or TV versus a younger audience might like social media or you know, something like that. Okay, to what effect? I don't know why I just added a question mark, but yeah, to what effect? Okay, so now they're saying to what effect is like attitudinal and or behavioral change. Attention, pay attention. Send a message, reception. So to what effect is how well to what effect is say where consumers integrate advertising messages to understanding the right message. But I don't know. It's kind of dumb because the impact of the communication on the audience is like the outcome. So how is that part of the model that's modeling how effective it can be? Like, why would you model the outcome as like this? Just doesn't make sense as something to predict the outcome. You know what I mean? Because like the effectiveness of your communication is the outcome, but this is, and so you have a model to predict the effectiveness, which is the outcome, but you're including the effectiveness in the I'm losing it. You're including your effectiveness, your outcome in the analysis of what the outcome is going to be. Like that, I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. Explain it in the comments if you understand, please. I'm just a young child. To what effect? So, attention, obviously. Yeah, the audience has to pay attention. Comprehension. These are all things that are getting worse in people my age. Reception. Identify attention and comprehension as essential for receiving the message. So, we're just saying reception is the same as the two before it, I guess. But, like, yeah, doesn't really make sense. Reception kind of makes no sense, but whatever. Acceptance. Message must be accepted for it to affect attitudes or behavior. Okay. And yielding. Stage where consumers integrate advertising messages into their understanding of the product. consumers integrate advertising messages into their understanding of said product. Okay. Sorry, I'm sick. Evaluation. So, this is a little bit hard to read, eh? Let's do this. No. Okay, our evaluation is let's do this. Evaluation. We have a weakness. Our weakness is that it is oversimplified. Even though it considers interactions between several components, research suggests advertising can change attitudes by 2 different routes. That's the worst explanation I've ever seen. I don't know who wrote this slide, but to be honest, not the best I've seen. Even though it considers interactions between several components, research suggests advertising can change attitudes by 2 different routes. By 2 different routes. Like, what does that even mean? Because this Yale model included like 18 different routes. Like, okay, yeah, we'll just say oversimplified. Despite considering multiple components of communications, research suggests they missed something. Basically, right? That's the whole idea. Okay. Central route. Used by highly motivated customers, consumers think deeply about the advertising message, high degree of message elaboration, more likely to lead to attitude change and purchasing power. Peripheral route. Oh, this is what it's talking about. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see that it continued to explain it. That is my bad. Research. That is 100% my bad. Sorry for making that snide remark. Research suggests... Did I even use that word correctly? We gotta find out now as well. Snide. Yeah. It's pretty snide. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I didn't realize you continued to explain it. Thank you. Okay. Suggests 2 different routes by which attitudes are affected. That should be affected with an A. Okay. Central route, or route if you're British. Highly motivated customer thinks deeply about advertising message, likely attitude change, and purchase. We'll just say purchasing behavior to be nice. Behavior. And then we have our peripheral route. Less motivated, minimal attention, and understanding. Forms general impressions based on the advertising message. Okay. And issues and debates. That's quick. Issues, debates. Wow, there's a quintillion of these. What the fuck? Oh, never mind. Maybe not. Maybe they're all connected the way this person does their slides. Holistic approach. So it's holism versus reductionism. This is reductionism. Holistic approach. Considers multiple influential factors. Reductionist approach would oversimplify, even though we just said that they already oversimplified it. So basically, it's just a bunch of bullshit. Audience perception varies. Same source the same source, speaker or brand, may impact people differently. Some people may find it more attractive. Message interpretation. A single message will not have the same effect on everyone. Understanding barriers, better understanding of. Okay, so this is just listing off reasons. Yeah, obvious. A holistic approach helps predict consumer responses more accurately, leads to more effective decision making in marketing and advertising. This is like application, right? More effective advertising campaigns. Yeah, okay. Applied to create more effective. This should be effective with an E. Effective. I think it should be effective with an E. Maybe I'm retarded. More effective marketing and advertising. Can I go to the next slide, please? Google Slides, are you broken? It's broken. Nice. You. Oh, why is it like this? What is that? Oh, now we go to applications everyday life. What in the frick? So this is another one, right? App to everyday life. Strength. This is also a strength, right? God, this is a long ass fucking part of this thing, man. We haven't even gotten to these other two parts yet, and this is like half the page. Yeah, damn. Crazy. Let's do this. Strength is that if it applies to benefit both businesses and consumers, show the features of the source can increase the persuasiveness of advertising messages, trustworthiness, attractiveness, and expertise in that order. Most important qualities in influencing consumer attitudes. Wow, I just read that and I didn't focus on any of it. Showed that features of the source can increase the persuasiveness of advertising messages. Trustworthiness, attractiveness, and expertise in that order were the most important qualities. Okay. Basically what I already said to make marketing and advertising more effective. Benefit both customer and business. Improves. They really like to say alignment for some reason. Alignment of brand endorsements. Like, I don't know why we went so specific, but brand endorsements, I guess. What the fuck happened here? Why is it so small? What is happening with this page, dog? What is this? What is that? Oh, it's because one of these thingies is like massive, I think. I don't know. Fucking weird, man. Oh no, it's doing this thing of like not wanting to. Okay, whatever. Like, what is this? This is so garbage. Jesus, man. Fucking. Okay, so Google Slides just decided to break, I guess. That's cool. No problem. Why is it so wide? What the fuck? Did I fix it? Not really. Fucking Google sucks, man. Okay, well, I guess we're doing it this way now. Interesting. Like, what is this fucking white box, dog? It's just, like, in the fucking way. Jesus Christ. Okay, whatever. Yeah, man. So annoying. Internet methods of oh, this, it's just, okay. Now we're down to this. Cool. Nice. Good. I like that. Okay. Now we're down to advertising, media, different methods. Internet. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Most print media products are now available as online versions and have phased out paper-based products altogether. Makes research studies like critical in investigating differences in the way consumers. Okay. Most print media has digital alternatives to save money and be accessible anywhere. They didn't include that, but obviously that's a good thing. Like, how is that not included? Banner blindness is a term used to describe the way consumers avoid or filter out adverts placed horizontally and vertically around the sides of the screen. Well, parties could recognize that they had been exposed to in their online experiment, therefore businesses need to find other ways of capturing. Okay. Utter blindness. Consumers avoid / miss ads on sides of screen. Cookies used to track visit history used for targeted ads. The user's psychographic profile is combined with demographic information. Okay. Psychographic profile and demographic info combined to give most specific ads possible. Let's go to the next slide. It won't let me for some reason. Yeah. Now it's fixed. What the fuck, bro? Alright. Well, that's good, I guess. Do a little zoom. Smartphones. Oh, let's go, boys. I love using a good old smartphone. Smartphones. Everyone has a smartphone. Babaji. I don't know why, but that reminds me of Babaji. Influencers. Oh yeah, has a smartphone. Uses. Whoa, that's a word. Uses social media. Influencers may or may not be paid by specific brands to mention such picture their products, but due to their high levels of credibility and popularity, may be powerful turning interest into purchasing intent. However, research suggests that influencers are transparent about their relationship with the brands they represent have the greatest impact. Okay. Influencers have sponsors. What's the word? Creates interest in their sponsors. Credibility and popularity help. So does sponsor transparency. Neuromarketing. Hello. Neuromarketing has the use of physiological measures such as fMRI, EEG, and eye tracking to provide insight into customers' motivations, preferences, and decision making. Sari et al. Use two methods to exploit differences in the way consumers interact with adverts presented in print or digital formats, with research into menu design and shelf positioning. Eye tracking was used to measure visual attention by recording the length of fixation on specific areas of page. Okay, and so I'm gonna assume it's not. Okay, well, let's just get this down first then. Can I click on it? Okay. And then we have after smartphones, we have neuro, not a space, marketing. Use of EEG, fMRI, and eye tracking to gain info about consumer motivation, preferences, and decision making. Think this is this the key study? It's just including a study. Okay, that's whatever then. It's not a key study. We're only in it for the key studies, ladies and gentlemen. Can I press down arrow? I can, and now it's glitched. Okay. That's some bullshit. I guess I have to do it this way, otherwise it's gonna be glitched. Okay. Demon and Cleatman. Oh, classic. I have to study this later. EEG to monitor brain activity during sleep. Yeah, REM sleep. EEG can also be used with awake participants to monitor brain activity. EEG can predict the do we really need to know this shit? I don't think we do. I mean, maybe if they specifically ask about it. But I think mainly we don't. Commercial success. Yeah, whatever. What? Is that what I clicked on? That's not what I clicked on. I clicked here. Am I crazy? Okay. Eval. of just neuromarketing and not anything else for some reason. Provide objective data. We'll just say neuromarketing provides objective. Whoa, what is going on? Data. On consumers' info processing. Overcome limitations of subjective methods. Overcomes subjective method limits. May rely on self-awareness and measure only explicit processes, consciousness, awareness. Method limits and biases. Biases meaning it could be researcher or participant. Neuromarketing techniques like EEG and eye tracking can measure implicit processes. Can measure implicit processes. Not influenced by demand characteristics or social desirability bias. It's one of the biases I was talking about. Another one would be researcher bias. Processes. I wish you could just do a tab and then I guess that would be bad actually, never mind. I wish I was gonna say I wish you could do tab and then when you backspace on it would turn into spaces instead of just one tab, but actually that would be kind of bad. Okay, not influenced by demand characteristics or social desirability. Wow, desirability bias. Data from studies can be tested for reliability. Studies can be tested for reliability. Weaknesses. So these are all strengths. Eval strengths. Or let's just say strengths here, actually, it's better. And then we can go down here and say weaknesses. Weaknesses are ethical concerns. Ethics. Yeah. Extraction of info participants are unaware of. I don't know how this really applies. Like, isn't it a good thing that they found that out? Like, the fact, yeah, whatever. I mean, like, we already know this. Like, that's what the whole implicit information thing. Right. Potential for manipulation of consumer behavior, especially needs to trigger buy buttons. Yeah. Manipulation of consumer behavior. But it's like, where do you draw the line, you know? Vulnerable groups may be less aware of such tactics. Vulnerable groups may be unaware of these methods. Exploitation. And last one, could be used to promote unhealthy behaviors. Could be used, sued. Could be sued, honestly. Could be used, used to promote unhealthy behaviors. Nice. Okay. Now what are we on? Scotty. Beam me up, Scotty. This is a study. We don't care about the study. And Lauderborn's 4C's marketing model. Behaviors. Bob Lauderborn in 1990 has an updated version of the traditional 4Ps marketing mix. While the 4Ps focused on the seller's perspective, Lauderborn's 4Cs aim to be more consumer-centric, focusing on the buyer's needs and perspectives. The 4Ps marketing mix. So the 4Ps, okay, sorry, I just did not even, I was thinking about something completely different. Seller's perspective, Lauderborn's 4Cs and consumer-centric, focusing on the buyer's needs. Fuck me. Yeah. Let's just do a bunch of enters so we can get it in the middle. So we can actually see it. Alrighty. Bob Lauderborn. That is quite a name, I must say. It's like a fucking movie character. Okay. Consumer. Focuses on understanding the needs and wants of the customer rather than just creating a product. It considers what the customer is looking for and how the product solves their problem or adds value. On customers' needs and wants, creates product fuck me. Oh my god. Specifically to solve problem slash add value. Blow my nose real quick, sorry. Oh, the grind doesn't stop even if you're sick as a dog. Cost instead of price. This guy's a genius. Emphasizes the total cost to the consumer. Emphasizes he is actually kind of a genius. Okay, he means cost as in all potential costs, not just expense or price. This is total cost to consumer, not just price, as in effort, time, emotional cost, convenience, place focuses on how easy it is for the consumer to purchase the product. Ease of purchase for consumer. How accessible it is, availability and accessibility. Availability and accessibility. That is one hell of a word to write. And last one, communication. Shifts from one-way advertising to two-way communication. Two-way communication. Do you remember what that is? That's the question. Do you remember? Hopefully. Two-way communication is giving two sides of the argument, right? Build relationship with buyer. Engaging with them through feedback, conversations, and customer service rather than just pushing promotional messages. Feedback, customer service. Next page, please. Evaluation. Nice. We're almost done, boys. We're almost done. Evaluation. What, dude? Do you see this? It went back to fucking Yale model of communication. This shit's crazy. No way. You're not real. What? Hello? Thank you. Strength. Weakness. Okay, wow. Very nice and simple. Strength. We'll just do this. Yeah, whatever. We'll just do this. Strength. Focuses on buyer as an active participant in the process, recognizing the importance of cultural differences in consumer behavior. When did it do that? I don't remember. Let's read this. No. It never did that, but okay. Focuses on buyer, yeah. Active. Participant. Process. Like, I mean, I'm gonna write this, but recognizes cultural differences. But, like, when does it actually do that? Like, did it ever say that? It's not in any of these. I guess here, maybe, in consumer, right? See if we go back. Focuses on oh, it's too hard to read. Fucking Yale. Why does it love Yale so much, man? Just go to the thing that I'm clicking on. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It never said anything. Never said anything about culture differences, but all right, we'll take it. And we got our weakness, which is models outdated. Outdated. Advances in e-commerce. Advances in e-commerce. Wow, I used a hyphen. I'm so cool. Why does it look like that? Why does the hyphen look so high? Is it that high? That's odd. Okay. Advances in e-commerce and social media influencers. So we're just gonna say social media. Oh my god, I'm the slowest. Which drive consumer behavior today. It doesn't account for buyer-to-buyer communication. Okay. Yeah. Is extremely important now. For now, doesn't take buyer to buyer into consideration. Are we done? Self-monitoring scale. Oh, that might be the worst slide I've ever seen. Congrats. Okay. Is this self-monitoring scale part of this part? It is not. Okay. Oh god, I'm tired. All right, thanks for sticking with me. So, we got our types of advertising and advertising techniques. It's 2.5.1. We start with the Yale model of communication. It has 5 features / factors, which determine the effectiveness of communication. Who, which is who's sending the message. What, which is the message itself. Whom, which is the audience, and 2 more, which is expanded by a different guy, which are how, which is the method of communication, and to what effect, which is the impact of the communication on the audience. That one is weird, but we'll deal with it. Who, in terms of who, the credibility, persuasiveness, attractiveness, looks, popularity, image of the person is what matters in terms of how well the message will come across, and in terms of the impact of the message. What, meaning the contents of the message itself. Is it a hard sell message using important factual info? Is it a soft sell message using subjective wording, and, like, you know, is it image oriented, kind of working on the person, the consumer's image, like that. Um, is it a two-sided message presenting both sides, and also what's going on with the message timing? Is it being affected by any sort of primacy effect or recency effect? Primacy being that it's the first thing you saw, recency meaning that it's the most recent thing that you saw. Then we have whom, the audience. Oh, music stopped. This song is good, bro. John Bellion, Wash. Sheesh. Sheesh. All right, continue. We can have this play on the side, I guess. Like a little Subway servers. So whom is the audience? You must understand the target audience for the thing to be effective. For your communication to be effective. In general, a younger, less intelligent, moderate self-esteem audience equals the most gullible or what's the word? Easy to persuade. Or they're impacted the most by communication. How? So, in terms of method, no one method is the best. It all depends on the audience. And then to what effect? Meaning how attentive is the audience? How much attention are they paying to it? What is their level of comprehension? Reception is basically just these two combined. Does it make sense? Acceptance, meaning do they actually accept the message that's coming at them? They don't have any like moral quandaries or like the kind of values that are contradicting what's going on that would make them not accept the message. And then also yielding, which is where consumers start to integrate the advertising message into let's make this a little bit bigger, into their understanding of the product. So this is like kind of like the last stage where they've fully been fucking indoctrinated. Okay, evaluation of the Yale model of communication. So one weakness is that it's oversimplified. Despite the fact that they consider multiple components of communications, research suggests that there's two different routes by which attitudes are effective, two routes that a consumer will take that are, it's not in control of the communicator. And so those are the central and peripheral routes. So the central route means that the customer is highly motivated. They're going to think deeply about the advertising message, and they're likely to have their attitude change and their purchasing behavior. I don't know if increase in the word, but change or improve or whatever, to where they're more likely to buy the item. The peripheral route is the opposite. They're less motivated. Minimal attention is being given, and they don't really understand what's going on, or they don't really understand the message, and they end up forming general impressions based on the advertising message. Issues and debates around the Yale model of communication. So holism versus reductionism. This is a strength. It takes a holistic approach considering multiple influential factors, as you can see here, these 5. And a reductionist approach would oversimplify. And this can be applied to create more effective marketing and advertising. And application in everyday life is another strength. It can be applied to benefit both customer and business. Improves alignment of brand endorsements. This part is just random. I don't know. And now we move on to the next part. Advertising media. So we have printed, television, internet, smartphone, and neuromarketing, aka use of eye tracking, EEG, fMRI stuff. So start out with the internet. Most print media has digital alternatives, and most everything is becoming digital now to save money, and also because everybody has usually access to the internet, or the biggest possible audiences have access to the internet, the biggest markets. And of course, the internet, if you have internet, can be accessible from anywhere. Then we look at banner blindness, meaning the phenomenon where consumers avoid/miss ads on the like vertical or horizontal sides of their screen. Just a random fact they added in there. And then also we have the use of cookies to track the history of sites that have been visited by user, and those are then used. Those cookies are then used for targeted ads. And additionally, they use their psychographic profile, which is basically the psychological profile of the person, and the demographic info combined to give the most specific ads possible. I believe in the presentation they gave example about a pregnant woman getting ads about like, baby food or bibs or whatever, pacifiers. Then we have neuromarketing, or sorry, we have smartphones. Everyone has a smartphone. And everybody uses social media, right? So this makes it pretty effective. Also, influencers. The main way people get advertising through smartphones besides ads are influencer sponsors. This creates interest in their sponsors. Credibility and popularity help the most, and so does sponsor transparency, as in the influencer being transparent about the fact that they are being sponsored by the product. And then finally, we have neuromarketing. Neuromarketing is the use of EEGs, fMRI, and eye tracking to gain info about consumer motivation, preferences, and decision making. Strength is that neuromarketing provides objective data on consumers' information processing, and this helps to overcome subjective methods, limits, and biases. It can measure implicit processes, whereas the subjective methods and non-neuromarketing methods of measuring consumer information processing can only measure explicit processes, like for example, what is it called? Like self-reports and stuff like that are affected by these biases and limits and can only measure explicit processes. Meanwhile, use of these methods can measure implicit processes inside the person's brain that they're not aware of, which we'll get to later in ethics. These are not influenced by demand characteristics or social desirability bias. And also, as we said over here, other types of biases like researcher bias. And studies can be tested for reliability over and over again. And then the weaknesses, we have 4, all about ethics basically. So, extraction of info that the participants are unaware of is ethically questionable, like extracting implicit info in their brain that they're not aware of. And then, of course, the use of that info to manipulate consumer behavior is ethically questionable as well. Additionally, vulnerable groups like children or mentally handicapped people may be unaware of these methods, and so that raises questions about exploitation. And finally, the info could be used to promote unhealthy behaviors, like making people, like advertising for gambling or advertising for drugs or stuff like that. Not a good thing. Or advertising for junk food, Alright, and moving on to the last thing, Bob Lauterborn's 4 C's marketing mix model. I believe it used to be the 4 P's or something, and that was more about the product side and the business side and less about the consumer side. And so Bob Lauterborn, the GOAT, I don't know why he's the GOAT, but I just decided, changed his 4 C's to be more customer focused. So for the first C, consumer, focuses on the consumer's needs and wants and tries to create products specifically to solve a specific problem or add value to the consumer's life in a specific way. Then we go to cost. It emphasizes the total cost to the consumer, not just price, but including things like effort, time, and emotional cost. Then we have convenience. This is about the ease of purchase for the customer, making it as easy as possible, as available, as accessible. Then we have communication, which is the final 4th C, trying to use two-way communication instead of hard sell or soft sell, presenting both sides of the argument and being transparent about your products, right? This builds relationship with the buyer. They use feedback and customer service to, try and build that relationship even more. Basically, this whole thing is about treating the customer as well as possible. You saw that background? That's right. Oh, you can't even see it. Never mind. The Ringed City is what it says. The Ringed City. There's a T and a Y there. W Dark Souls 3. Okay. Last thing, evaluation. Strength. So, Lauterborn's 4 C's marketing mix model focuses on the buyer as an active participant in the process and recognizes the impact of cultural differences in consumer behavior. Even though it doesn't say that anywhere inside of their slides or on my notes, but we're just gonna roll with it because it's probably what it says in the textbook. Classic Cambridge being retarded. Now, the weakness is that it is outdated as fuck. There's been lots of advances in e-commerce and social media since good old Bob Lauterborn made his model, And so it leaves out a lot of stuff regarding that, including taking buyer to buyer communication into consideration. Buyer to buyer being like, you know, sponsor to influencer or whatever sort of thing, right? All right, and that's all. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day and good luck with exams. Bye bye.